Okay, sorry about the glare. I have run out of contacts. So today well, actually a few days ago, I was sent a video from my mother that said that I should watch it, by Pastor Robert Morris, which I don't know if you do or don't know. This year he should have died, nearly died. Medically, there's no reason he's alive. It was a pretty traumatic year for him and his family. And so I watched the video this morning, and it got to a point where I knew that it was like talking to me, so I paused it. And I'm going to finish watching it and kind of talk through it on here. But before that, I have not stated on my channel the way that I became a widow. It's not something that I like talking about. It was not planned. It was not illness. It was not normal. If there's like a normal, and there's no like kind of widow. Like there's so many different ways to become a widow. There's, first responders, there's military, there's illnesses, there's like just freak accidents, there's car wrecks, there's drugs, there's women who are, in their middle age, women who are past middle age, women who are like me, later in their 20s, and men as well, obviously, people with children, people without children, or like me, I was pregnant when I lost my husband, and no one grieves in the same amount of time, no one grieves in the same way. I'm friends with a few widows in my community, and we are all completely different in how we are dealing with this life after losing our partners. And so I want to state that first. This is my story, this is my feelings, these are my accounts of being still here on earth. But in October of 2015, my husband got up and went to work, doing what he loved, which was training horses. He was working for a guy that's a family friend of ours, and he had called me and said, "Hey babe, I'm on my last horse, I'm cooling him off, and then I'm coming home and we'll go on about our evening." We had a lot going on in our lives. I was pregnant, we had his daughter, we were in the middle of selling our business and getting rid of our house because we had moved home and all kinds of things. So we were carrying a big load on our shoulders, more so than usual. And so yeah, got off the phone. Okay, I'll see you when you get home. Love you, bye. And then I went on to, we were in the process of moving to where I live now. And so I went on to unpacking and stuff and getting ready for the baby. And I was actually laying out these marquee letters that I was going to hang on the wall. And the whole finding out it's a whole nother video. But anyways, I found out that my husband had drowned. He was cooling the horse off in a playa lake near us, and they were trapped. His horse and him got in barbed wire that was underground, and the wire got wrapped around his boot and his spur, and so he couldn't get free. There's always been two ways that I said would be the worst way to die, and that was fire and drowning. And water has been a huge trigger for me ever since. My son has 92 life jackets. Not he's 2 and he has at least 7 life jackets. And not that a life jacket is gonna save you, but I just want all the precautions. And so the nightmares about drowning and the thoughts of drowning and the constant weight of what he must have been thinking, and how long did it take him before he wasn't thinking. And I mean, it's just like I can't breathe thinking about what it must have been like for him, and how awful and painful. And did he think he was going to get out of it? Did he think he was going to make it home? Did he feel guilty? Did he feel anything? Did he feel at peace? Like, what he must have gone through is something that is gut-wrenching, and it weighs on me every single day. It weighs on me every time I open the water to brush my teeth, or I put our son in the bath, or I try to take a shower, or I go feed my fish in the fish pond, or I drive past the lake that he drowned in because it's on our main highway. Like, I drive past it twice a day. And I cannot imagine. And it's been one of the harder things I'm dealing with, is trying to let that go and know that he's at peace now. And no matter how long it was very short in the grand scheme of things. And so I'm going to insert somehow, I got to figure out a clip of this part of this passage, and I'll also link the passage in. And it's something that's brought me, I think, peace today. It brought me tears, of course, but it also is something that I think that I will turn to pretty regularly. And so I want to share it with you guys, and hopefully if you know someone, or you are someone that needs this, that it can help someone else out there. So here we go.
So I thought about, in my prayer time that morning, that field and the memory of Debbie seeing me take off in that helicopter. And so I prayed that that field would always be a reminder of God's goodness, and that our land, our place of peace, would not be a bad memory for her, but it would actually be a memory of God's goodness. And so we named that field Goodness Field. So
That's not what I call that fire lake.
What God's doing. In the helicopter, this is the last thing I want to share with you. In the helicopter, I had an encounter with the Lord that I really believe is going to minister to all of you, every person watching. I didn't go to heaven, but the Lord's presence filled the helicopter. Just filled the helicopter. And I felt like I was about to go to heaven. And here's the thing that surprised me. I've heard people say that for the believer, there's no fear in death. That's true. I had no fear. No fear at all. Also, I've heard people say for the believer that there's peace in death. And I was extremely peaceful. But here's what surprised me. I was happy. I was excited. I mean, I knew I was leaving my family and my church family, but I was excited that I was about to see Jesus, that I was going to heaven. I can't even tell you how joyful I was. Now, I thought about my family and my church family and the ministry that God's given me. But these were my thoughts. When I thought about my family and you, I just knew, well, God will take care of them. There wasn't like a regret. There wasn't a fear or a concern even. With Debbie, the children, grandchildren, I just knew God will take care of them. And the church, God will take care of them. God will take care of them. I also knew this. I knew they would be sad that I was going. But I knew it would only be a really short time and I would actually see them again. Even my grandchildren. And I just thought, Lord, I'm so happy I'm coming to heaven, and I don't want to leave my family, but they'll be here in just a little while. I mean, just a little while. And so when I was telling my son James this in the hospital, he said, well, you know, Scripture says a day is as 1,000 years as a day of the Lord. He said, did you think it'd be months before your grandchildren be there? Did you think it was like days? Did you think it was seconds? I mean, what time frame did you think? And I said, I didn't even think in time. I just knew it wouldn't be very long. And my son made an incredible statement. He said, Dad, I think you experienced eternity. I think you experienced what you experienced. It was timeless. And I'm telling you that I want to encourage you, because for those of you who've lost a loved one, I want you to know they are extremely happy. They are joy-filled. And they know you're going to be there pretty quickly. There's no time. So I knew that. But as I thought about my family and the church and the ministry that God's given me, I just had this thought. And so I voiced it to the Lord in that helicopter. I said, Lord, I'm excited. I am so excited about coming home. I'm excited. But I would like to be there for my family a few more years. I'd like to be there for Debbie. I want to grow old with Debbie. I remember thinking that. And of course, some of you young people are thinking, y'all have already grown old. But you'll get here too, smart aleck. But I want to grow old with Debbie. I want to watch my children step into and fulfill the destiny God has for them. And I want to watch my children grow up, my grandchildren. I want to see my grandchildren grow up. So I said, Lord, I'm excited about coming. If this is it, I'm ready to come. But I'd like to stay for my family. And when I thought about the ministry God's given me, I said, and I just don't think you're finished with me yet on earth. I don't think you're finished with me. And the Lord said two words to me in the helicopter. When I said, I don't think you're finished with me, He said, I'm not. And I knew I wasn't dying that day. I just knew it. It didn't matter anything else. It didn't matter how much blood I'd lost. It didn't matter. I just knew God has spoken. I'm not dying today because He's not finished with me yet. I want to say this to you, though. I've heard people say, I'm going to live my life, and then before I die, I'll give my life to the Lord. When it happened, and I was dying, there wasn't time. God sustained me. But when I passed out with Debbie, I couldn't speak. I couldn't say anything. I just want to say to all of you, because it's very important, death can come quickly. It can come in an instant. And if you're waiting for some time later to get right with God, you may not have the chance. I'd like to ask you to bow your heads and close your eyes.
I know that my husband loved me more than anything. He used to joke that he wanted two things in his life, and that was to marry me and to get me pregnant, which he did both of in 2015. Oh. I wish he had wanted to do more things, but I know he wasn't ready to leave. We had so much to go. And I know that he wanted to be here to meet this baby. But I've prayed, and I've prayed, and I've prayed. that he was at peace and that he didn't suffer. And I needed this message. I need to know that maybe he was okay. And that the only thing on his mind was he was going home. So if there's somebody else out there that's lost a partner or a child or a sibling or a best friend or your ride or die, I hope that this brings peace to you. I hope that you find me. I hope that we're able to create a support group. While I do want to bring comfort to anyone and everyone, my, I guess, target demographic is people of my age. When I was looking for support after I lost my husband, I couldn't find people my age. Young widows were considered, or 30s or 40s, actually 40s and 50s was a young widow, and I'm like, I was 24 when he died, 25 shortly after. That's a whole, I mean, we were, in the prime of our lives. We were pregnant, we were building a home, we were truly young, and I didn't even, like, there were widows of disaster reliefs and military and first responders, and while I've also lost someone that I thought I'd have for my entire life in the military, it just, in that moment, it wasn't the same kind of grief. It wasn't, my husband wasn't out fighting. My husband wasn't out chasing down fires. My husband wasn't out with a weapon on his hip. Like, he was just riding a horse. That's how we were both raised. It was completely, I mean, my husband was Snapchatting me. Babe, this is our life. I'm so happy right now. And the Snapchat went out when he went underwater. So I hope that I can help anyone, even people who are support systems of people who've lost someone. I hope I can help anyone, but I hope that this finds other widows in similar situations as myself, and that we're either able to have a soul tie through this, or that this brings you comfort or takes away a week's worth of nightmares. Because God, I know that sat in this bed, they were awful. I woke up screaming, and I'm almost 3 years out. I felt the need to sit down and share this, and how many times can I say I hope it helps somebody? I will see you guys soon, and I love you.